Hi, this is Jenna Apgar, and we are over here with Jeff Weaver from iTex, and he is the owner of the franchise for the North Texas operations. Okay.
Exactly, yeah.
And he is here to talk about how barter can be used inside your business as both a means to manage your operational expenses and also bring you in new clients. And today he is discussing the different types of barter, the modern barter, and the direct swap barter. I feel like I should ask you some barter thing, like say this sentence 3 times fast. But why don't you?
Once is hard enough.
How did you get into barter, the business of barter?
Yeah, so really I got started in this back in the early 90s. I owned a license to produce a cartoon-style business map of an area. And I had gone in to call on Chili's to put them on the map, and I was talking with the general manager, who was very nice and accommodating and wanted to be on the map. But he told me, he said the approval process to get payment from corporate or the regional office would just take forever. He said, would you consider doing a barter deal? And I didn't know what he was talking about, so I was all ears. And he said, well, I would give you $250 worth of gift cards, which was equal to what it costs to be on the map. So as I thought about that, I thought, well, I'm guaranteed to getting a sale here, and I'll definitely eat at Chili's over the next few months and use up my $250. So it was a good deal. I went ahead and did it. Now, he particularly liked it because, in essence, it really only cost him about 30 cents on the dollar. The cost of his food was the only cash he paid out. If he was to pay cash, he would have had to pay $250 instead of about 75 bucks. So it really was a good deal for him as well. And then a couple months later, I was in my business group, AMBUCS, American Business Clubs, and this guy came in and he spoke about modern barter. Well, I'd done my barter deal and learned about barter, so I was all ears. Tell me what makes it modern. Well, what makes it modern is that there's no direct swapping going on, but there's still cashless transactions. So you can still buy goods and services without using money. And so I joined his, we call it a trade exchange, and I sold about $3,000 or $4,000 of additional advertising in a very quick amount of time. And that's because he already had people that were interested in spending their trade dollars, and I wasn't getting them for cash. So I went ahead and did those transactions, and then I paid for most of my wedding using trade dollars. I had my rehearsal dinner, my photographer, our limousine, all of that was paid for with trade. All with a barter transaction, yep. So I sold advertising on the map, but I used it for all this other stuff. Now, the advertising I sold on the map, those people, I didn't buy anything from them. They paid me with their trade dollars. So it's kind of a virtual currency, although our virtual currency is nothing like Bitcoin. That's kind of the Wild West.
When you said that, I was like, that sounds like Bitcoin.
Yeah, yeah. Bitcoin is what they call a decentralized currency. Ours is a centralized currency. So we know who's using it, how much they're using, and what they're using it for, and it's all reported income. So the IRS is happy. People are getting to buy goods and services without cash, so they're happy. Everybody's happy in our world.
And that's, I mean, because I know a wedding, that could be in Dallas, I think the average is $80,000. We did it for
a lot of money.
That is a lot of money. So you're talking about currency. You said the tax people still get their money. So it's like an income of sorts and an expense of sorts.
Right. So what, one of the guiding principles of what we do is we bring people new business that they didn't have before. We're helping them sell their excess capacity, time, if they're a billable hours kind of business, like an attorney or a CPA, if they're not billing that hour, they're making zero. Well, we bring them a new customer that pays them with iTex dollars, so now they're not making zero anymore. So it's an additional source of revenue. And then they're able to use those dollars instead of cash. So if the CPA wanted to go get his oil changed, he can now use his trade dollars instead of his cash, so that $60 he was going to spend in cash anyway is still in his pocket. So he saves $60. It goes right to the bottom line.
That's an interesting, and so we're discussing today, you know, the difference between that modern barter and the direct swap. Let's go ahead and define that out so there's no confusion. What is a direct swap barter?
Okay, great. So a direct swap is a lot like I did with Chili's, or let's say you are a printer and you wanted to go get some dental work done, but you didn't have enough cash to do it. So you'd get on the phone and keep calling dentists until you found one that needed printing. Well, that would be a direct swap. Now there's 4 very distinct perils, I call them, of direct swapping. The first one is, just like I say, all those phone calls, you got to find somebody that has what you want, and they got to want what you have, or it's no deal. So the haves and wants not matching up are sometimes a problem. The second issue that we run into is that the pricing is not the same. So if in my Chili's deal, it just happened to be the same price. If the dentist needed to do $3,000 worth of work on the printer and only needed $500 worth of printing, then somebody's got to put cash in the deal, so the deal doesn't work anymore. And then timing is often an issue. In my deal with Chili's, the timing factor was I put them on the map that day, but I collected my money over time in using those gift certificates.
Okay.
I was comfortable doing that because they were a regular gift card, not a certificate that could be refused. And I knew Chili's probably wasn't going out of business. So, you know, you want to be very careful about timing, because people do go out of business, they pass away, they forget, there's a problem. Yeah, and then the fourth one is, the fourth one is that people don't document the transaction. And so, you know, any good attorney will tell you, document everything. So you write a receipt so that if somebody isn't performing, then you can take them to court and get paid. So plus, everybody knows what everybody's doing, everybody knows the values, everybody knows the timing, and that'll keep you out of trouble on direct swaps.
So that's direct swaps, and those are the downfalls. Are there any plus sides to direct swaps?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I talk even with my members, I tell them to be open to doing barter transactions. Barter is a way of guaranteeing sales instead of just getting an expense. What I mean by that is, let's say you're a restaurant owner and a guy comes in and says, hey, I'll wash your windows for $25. Well, if he agrees to that, he reaches into the cash register and pulls out $25 cash, pays it to the man, he washes the windows, then he takes the $25 and goes down the street to your competition and spends the money. So if you do a direct swap with him and say, I'll tell you what, you can do my windows, but I'm going to pay you with a $25 gift card to our restaurant. Now you've guaranteed the sale. So it's not just an expense, you get a sale as well. So I tell people to always keep your eyes open for that on any transaction. And you can even do it where there's a timing issue. Let's say, for instance, you're going to hire a social media marketing specialist to do Facebook for you, and it's going to be $500 a month. Well, you could pay them partly in trade and partly in cash and do that every month. Therefore, you're saving the cash, and they still got a sale that they wanted. They want the sale. They're getting part cash and part your services, but if they need and want your services, it's a win.
Nice. So, okay. And so then what is that modern barter? And I think that's the one that's probably the least clear to most people. Because I mean, I know you from different networking groups, and I've heard your 30-second sales pitch. And I really feel like this concept, there's no way 30 seconds can do it justice. You're like talking barter, and I'm like, I don't need a hitch for my car in return for marketing. So even I, like, listen, I was like, barter's not going to work for me. So what is this
Yeah.
modern barter, and how does it benefit the, the everyday business owner?
Right, right. So we've been doing this since 1982. We're the largest modern trade exchange in North America. We've got 75 offices across the US and Canada, and we currently have 20,000 businesses that use our service, that transact with each other using what we call iTex dollars instead of cash dollars.
And these are
The
nationwide
biggest,
businesses.
pardon?
20,000 nationwide?
20,000 nationwide, right. I service about 220 here in Dallas, Fort Worth.
Just in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And what
Yep,
kind of
yep.
businesses, what's a typical business on there?
Well, we've got a lot of different kinds of things. We have, you can use it for personal, you can use it for business. So on the personal side, we've got massage, we've got auto repair, we've got maid service, those dental services, eye care. I bought my glasses and my exam with iTex dollars instead of cash. That saved me $500 of cash. So, and then on the business side, very practical kinds of things like phone service, janitorial service, printing, stuff that businesses use all the time. So now we don't have everything, but we're also not going to provide that much business. Will be an incremental increase. That additional revenue might be 5-10% of your business. We don't want to be too much of a percentage, because then it can cause what I call a secondary cash flow issue. That's understanding barter at a very deep level. At the surface level, we
Well,
just
you
want to
need
make
cash.
sure that you're buying and selling.
Yeah, there are some things you just can't buy with alternative currency. My social media
Right. And
scheduler is $200 a month. That has to be cash.
yeah. So, and certain things like we can't get computers because they don't have a large enough margin. Sometimes we have instances where, well, let's take auto repair, for instance. My guys do oil changes for 100% iTex, but if you need, say, a new power steering unit, they're not an auto supply house. They're an auto repair shop. They provide repair service. Labor is what they sell. So they sell that for iTex, and you pay cash for the parts. Now, we don't do that in certain instances, like if you're a printer, because the printer has the paper, has the ink, it's all there. But we also want to make sure that a person doesn't have too high of a cash cost in getting an iTex dollar.
What would be too high of a cash cost?
Well, we really try to keep it under 50%. 35% is really a great spot. Restaurants are about 30%. The printer is about 30 to 35%. But if you take like advertising specialties, most of the guys that sell that are actually brokers. So they're only making 25 to 30% gross margin. And so they would have too much
Advertising
cash involved.
specialties, what do you mean by advertising specialties?
Oh, like, pens and mugs and stuff like that.
Oh, tchotchkes.
Yeah, tchotchkes. Yeah. So there's too much in that. But, there are some things like, for instance, I have a lady that does the embroidery, and she sells the embroidery service for full iTex. In my case, I provided the shirts because I could get them cheaper than she could sell them to me. So it was a good deal all along.
So is that
those are the
shirt
kinds
on your back?
That shirt's on my back. This was a JCPenney shirt. Got it for $7. It was on sale and 30% off for ordering online. I'm quite the shopper.
My own heart, man. I love Black Friday and holidays for shopping.
Yeah, you got to get the best deals. And that's what makes bartering so great, is every time you're spending that trade dollar instead of cash, it really does feel like you're getting stuff for free. Now, the flip side is you feel like you're giving away services for free, but then that equals out.
So, how does that kind of operation work? Because iTex itself is nationwide. You are a local franchise. You have buyers and sellers. So, how does that money move around? So the buyer and seller, when they make a deal, and how do they participate with you? Where does iTex make money? Where do you make money and what other fees are involved.
Okay, all right, let's go over how we'll go over how a transaction happens and then how we get paid. So transaction, we have a platform much like a bank. We have a website where the buyer or the seller can go in and process the transaction. We have a mobile app that does the same thing. The buyer or seller can process their transaction, or they can send me an email detailing the transaction and I'll process the transaction. So, there's several different ways that the buyers and sellers can consummate their transaction and be sure that they paid and have been paid. So now the way that we make money is two things. Well, actually three. So there's an enrollment fee of $295. But for anyone that sees this video, if they register online and put in the promo code video, they're going to get that $295 waived by me. No matter where they are in the country, I can help them with that.
I will have that. I'll put that on there and make sure that it's on the landing page for people becoming new members.
Super, super. So the way corporate gets paid, since I just gave away something for free, that we charge what we call an association fee. I call it the Chamber of Commerce fee because it's about the same cost as a Chamber of Commerce. It's charged each 4-week accounting cycle, so there's 13 cycles in the year. It's $20 cash and 10 trade dollars. So that comes out to 260 cash and 130 trade for the whole year. So that's about what Chambers of Commerce costs. The way that I get paid is I get paid off of the transactions because I'm a broker. So I help sellers sell, and I help them when they're a buyer, I help them buy. So I get paid 6% of their sales and purchases within a given cycle. So if you sell something for $100 and you buy something for $100, you have $200 of volume times 6%. You owe me, I make a whopping 12 bucks. So I've got to be doing a lot of transactions.
So I have two things there. What happens if you don't have trade dollars to pay? If you're just starting out, how do you pay that initial $10?
Yeah, we let people go negative in that instance, and it just gets made up when they make their first sale. I can also, sometimes I have people that join and there's something that they want and need right away. I can issue them a line of credit. So they're actually borrowing trade dollars from me and they pay them back by making sales.
Nice. For everyone, like if you're having issues with a line of credit, and that's an interesting alternative way to do it. And the second question.
Yep, it keeps it moving.
Keep it always moving. If you only, because you're the franchisee, so iTex makes money on the monthly fee. You make money on the transaction. That gives you a reason to help connect and give business and connect business for all the people that are inside your system.
Exactly. I mean, it's not a case of just running out and signing up a bunch of businesses. It's really a business about what we call trade directing, which is helping sellers meet buyers and helping buyers meet sellers. And I do that in a number of different ways. Some of it's direct communication by phone or in person. Some of it's by email. I send out various emails, 1 or 2 a week, that introduce new members or promote, 7 or 8 items that they could buy this week. So, I just sent one out, and we had some advertising in there. We had some jewelry in there. We had some vacuum cleaners in there. So just all different kinds of stuff.
I like that part because over the last year and a half, we've been working with kind of like the beta group, if you will, of all the Business Growth Network insiders in our own membership, and going to all the network meetings and the meetups in the DFW area. I've gotten to know some of these business owners incredibly well. And one of the things that's very sad on my heart is how many of them are struggling to bring in business.
Yeah.
We're talking like some brought in no business in 2017.
Right.
And they wouldn't even offer it for free. Like I'd be like, look, just go call an ideal client and offer your services for free plus expenses. It's still better than what you're doing right now. And you're going to networking meetings where when I go to Richardson Plano Networkers, and I do it for friends, and we run the Facebook, the live feed there. my lunch alone is like $16 a week.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when you can't afford a marketer and you can't afford a sales team and you don't have those skills yourself, correct me if I'm wrong, by joining the modern barter, this iTech system, you kind of act as a middleman marketer salesperson. And I mean, not dedicated by any means, but you're stepping in and acting a little bit in that part.
Yeah, I'm an additional part to their sales team to some degree. If we take, if you knew somebody that offered a service, in other words, they have no cash cost in doing business, we can easily start them out where they're, right from when they start, they haven't even made a cash sale. I can help them make an iTech sale. And the thing about it is it's just like any networking. When you get a new customer, you provide them excellent service and you ask them for referrals. Well, the iTech members know other business owners and know other people. And by and large, those people are not iTech members. Oh, don't get yourself set on fire. So they would get cash referrals out of that. I also do a lot of social media. So I promote members of mine that are active in the system and they're currently paid up on their fees. I promote them on Facebook and LinkedIn and in the networking stuff that I do, and I find them cash business as well. Why? Because it's just all part of doing business.
It is. Providing that value, I think I know for me personally, when you get over that first mindset bump of, what do they call it? A scarcity mindset, where you're afraid of value, that's when magic happens. I mean, I think of just, I just got back from Digital Marketers Digital Agency Growth Summit, and it was 2 very intense days of crazy amounts of information about how to grow your agency. So everyone there is like very embedded in this information. But since we're dealing with other marketers, it's on a much higher level, so it's not dumb stuff, and they're talking a mile a minute. I don't know if you've heard me speak and teach. I don't slow down. You need to take it down to 50%. That's how all of this was. And so the entire time I took extensive notes in Evernote, crazy notes. I put in pictures. I was sketching while they were talking with my iPad and throwing it in there. I downloaded their slides and added in there. And then midway through the event, in our group, it's got 10,000 people. I was like, here's my notes. They're yours to take. And on one side, we're all agencies. It's a highly competitive environment. We're all competitors in theory on some level. But the idea of getting over that mindset bump of scarcity and not giving back, and you share your notes, and all of a sudden now you're the one up there being highlighted on stage because you've shared your notes you've given. Now who does everyone want to talk to?
Yeah. That's the principle of scarcity and abundance. And, it is for many small business owners, because they just don't have enough business, it starts feeling like the marketplace is scarce, but there's so much available. And sometimes you got to put one foot outside of the box in some part of your business and give it a try. We tend to put our heads down, and a lot of people spend most of their time, they're very good at their craft. They're not good at marketing, or they're not good at operations, but they're very good at what they do. And so I do some public speaking on doing business by referral. And the reason is that 84% of my new members come by way of referral. And so I think that the business owners need to kind of get out of their comfort zone a little bit and take that leap into abundance. It's really a mindset. You're right.
And that's interesting you say that. I just spent over an hour on the phone with one of our members in tears the whole time. And of course, I can't hang up on that. You've got to stay on the line, right? But she didn't, I think, make nearly what she thought she could. She's hired every coach in the world, is a little overwhelmed. But now I'm wondering, because there's almost no hard expense in her service. I mean, I'm sure there's a few here and there, but her regular monthly coaching is pretty much all, you're paying for her time, right? That seems like
Right.
perfect for like these coaches that are having such a hard time getting business, assuming they offer value, right? Everyone wants to do.
Yeah, exactly. It's got to be marketable. Yeah.
Um, that seems like a great way to fill their books. If they can get over the hump of you have to give first before you can collect.
Yeah. Yeah. What I usually do, I talk with a business in terms of on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 meaning you don't have any business and you don't know where the next piece of business is coming from, and 10 meaning you've got all the business you can handle. There's no more time left. There's no more inventory left. You're just running like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you on that scale? If they're a 1 or a 2, they really need to focus on their cash business. They need help in that area, and I'm happy. I've got a marketing background. I'm happy to give people all kinds of free advice. You know, if they're a 9 or a 10, they're probably not going to be able to handle my referrals because they're too busy, you know?
And
And
that's
so
a
I'm looking
problem.
for people that are a 3 to an 8.
And that's okay. So you can't do the newbie business because they need cash, and you can't do, well, obviously if you're full, there's no reason.
Yeah, you're full, you're full. Yeah.
Yeah. That was one of the things we did learn at the agency summit that I really liked, was the ability to streamline operations on a single product. So the one, if I could think of any exception that would be for that rule, is if you have your operations so streamlined that if all it takes you to do is add another account manager, which you were probably close to doing anyway, then it's easy to bump up capacity.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And that's what it's all about. We help sell people's excess capacity. That's really what we do, whether it's inventory or time.
Do you have any like what are some examples of like the harder products that you have where it's an actual product?
Yeah, so more on the hard goods side. So we talked about printing.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a florist that sells flowers. And again, when we talk about excess capacity, so what she sells is you decide, you know, how big of an arrangement you want. You want a $75 arrangement. She goes to the cooler and uses the flowers that are available. So it's not like you can order 2 dozen roses because she might not have them. She's selling her excess capacity. So those are examples of some hard goods that we have.
That's interesting. And then what are some examples of the services that y'all have offered?
So we talked a little bit about things like maid service, janitorial service. I might have mentioned massage, video production. I've got a guy that does voiceover. We've got copywriters. We've got IT professionals. On the hard goods side, I got a guy that does wine gifts, and the wine bottle is etched with your logo, and then it comes in a nice box, and the box is embossed with your logo or the logo of the person you're giving it to. And you can buy those with iTex dollars. So
those are nice. And I think
yeah,
because we recorded this before, the recording didn't quite work out. I think the last time I had, if you could try to share your screen and bring up iTex on the back end so people can get a feel for what they've got available.
yeah, I've got that screen up if you can click over to it.
On the bottom right here in Zoom, there's a big green button that says share screen, and you should be able to click on that and select your iTex browser window. There we go.
Are you seeing it?
Yep.
All right. So in this example, what this really does is it shows you that modern barter works just like the cash world. You have a product or service and you're selling it. All you're doing is you're agreeing to take iTex dollars instead of cash dollars, and you're paying iTex dollars instead of cash dollars. So in our example, we've got the catering company that needs to get some menus or whatever printed. So she goes to the printer and buys the printing using iTex dollars instead of cash dollars. Now the printer, he doesn't need to buy catering service. That would be a direct swap. What he does is he uses his trade dollars to buy flowers. And then she uses it to go to the dentist. The dentist buys his wife some flowers. So that's 2 separate transactions, not a direct swap. And then He's also using it to take his wife on a little vacation. And then another thing that's really great, we have charities involved. So everybody's heard of Feed the Children. They're one of our biggest members. People can donate their trade dollars to a nonprofit and take the full tax write-off. I have one member that spends about $10,000 a year giving the charity. And I said, you know, you spend almost all the money you take in on giving to these various charities. Why do you do that? And he said, Jeff, it's pretty simple. In the cash world, I make enough money to provide for my family and do the things we want to do. But there just never seemed to be enough left over to do what I wanted to do for other people. So I saw iTex as a way to bring in revenue that I wasn't getting anyhow, and then to use that revenue to help better other people. So he spends about $10,000 a year just providing to the charities.
That's amazing. What charities do you have?
So, like I said, we've got Feed the Children. We have the American Diabetes Association. I've got a small charity called Orphans of the World. It's run by an attorney here in Dallas-Fort Worth. And years and years ago, he took a trip to South America and was just totally touched by all of the orphans and how little they had. So he started a charity to collect goods and services, mainly goods, mainly clothing and medical supplies. And he takes an annual trip and goes down and delivers those goods and services.
That's crazy insane.
Those are some of them.
Do you need more charities?
Oh yeah, we can always use more charities. I mean, this is helpful to them. We just need to make sure that they're going to be able to buy some of the things that they want to buy. And sometimes we get creative. Sometimes they need their message out there, so they buy advertising. Other times, you know, they have broken computers, so they need IT service, you know, so we do that with them.
Because that would be awesome. I'm a member, I work on the communications for Junior League Dallas. That's its own organization, but more importantly, they support around, give or take, 40 highly vetted charities in the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Right.
And they're always, I mean, I know Junior League specifically, some of the things that we need are totally random. And you can get from, we always try to pull from the community, whether it's having a video made or printing services all the time, because we do nice invitations. That would be really interesting, because that's a good way.
Yeah, and sometimes they, you know, charities, there's a pecking order to the use of iTex dollars with charities, and I always remind the charity, very first and foremost, you go out and try to get this donated. If you can't get it donated, you're much better off using trade dollars than even getting a discount, because you don't have any cost in getting your dollars. So let's say it's printing. Let's say you can call around and find a printer that'll do the job for $60, but the iTex member is allowed to charge full retail, and it's $100. Well, would you rather pay $60 cash that's so precious, or $100 trade that came to you pennies from heaven? Yeah. And so that's usually they realize it's so much better to use an iTex dollar than even discounted cash. And then, of course, if there's not iTex member available for what they're looking for, then they have to spend cash.
I know, like Junior League, every dollar direct dollar donated, every single penny goes into the charities. But then for every dollar donated, they get 3 hours of volunteers. So they really start highly trained volunteers. But all the expenses to run Junior League are paid for by the members. So when we need printing done, that's on us. So it's nice that it's not taken out of the charity dollars, but the printer can only donate so much, and we print a lot.
Yeah, and you know, a lot of the businesses are always hit up for those kinds of things, and you know, sometimes, and that's a good time to get a referral as well, because you know they can just do so much, you know.
I will definitely have to connect that. And so that was your pretty screen. Can you pull up the actual iTex website? And I say that because there's a couple reasons. Coming from the marketing side, on the digital marketing side, One of the things that people miss, search engine optimization, SEO, was incredibly complicated. But one of the ways that can benefit the user is just having a backlink from a major site. There's backlinks from social media, but there's also backlinks from, I have a blog posted on Fiverr.com. And this seems like, as if I remember correctly, you get a link to your website, or I'm sure probably for product to product, hopefully a direct link to that individual landing page or product page.
Yeah, so in the member directory, I mean, our website's pretty straightforward. You have your My Account page, which, has, oh, I need to log in, which has all of your, how much iText dollars you have, how much iText dollars you spent. I need to update my login. And then this is where they could go to make a sale or make a purchase. And then we have the member directory, and it's pretty straightforward as well. When you first click on it, it comes up with where your computer is sitting. I happen to be in North Carrollton, so I can just hit search, and it's bringing up every member within 50 miles of me.
Nice.
And so, you've got the chiropractor, you've got VIP Pet Services is a pet sitting service. Here's one of the auto repair places. All Over Media is advertising, indoor digital billboards. And then in their thing, you can go to their website. You can get more information just by calling them, or go to their website. Here's visit their website, and it just, links you to their website.
Nice.
So that helps everybody. Yeah.
Now, I'm trying to look at, does it say specifically what services they're offering? Because, I mean, we talk like some don't have the right margins. Some may not be easy enough to describe simply.
Right. You bring up a great point. Sometimes a business owner, like I have a guy, BBM, maids and janitorial, and he's got plenty of maid service business. He's got all that he can handle on the maid side, but on the janitorial side, he needed more business. So we have focused just on janitorial. So his description, I try to always put what they're offering for iText. So in this case, they're offering all of their digital advertising and billboard stuff. Mm-hmm. But in other cases, it's something that, it's something specific out of their whole offering. So we can sit down and spell that out. Now, we want to be fair, and we want to make sure that we can sell enough of what they're offering. If a printer came to me and said, I want to do just black and white business cards, thinking in his head that all of my members are going to come to him for printing services and pay him cash, he's sadly mistaken. iText members want to spend iText dollars. So here's a Chamber of Commerce that we have. We have the Iranian American Chamber of Commerce. They took in money for memberships, and they bought a website.
Nice.
So here's Mayrath Videos. He does the video conversion. This is a good example of one where it's a limited service. He will take your VHSs and your Super 8s and all of those kinds of things, mm-hmm. and convert them to CDs. But what he won't do for iText dollars is take all your slides and convert them, because it's too labor intensive. So he offers just the video stuff. Yeah. So
I'm gonna pile on my desk.
Yeah. So there's a web developer. Here's Smart Office DFW's phone service, business phone lines, mm-hmm. Quick car courses. We've got CPAs, dental. This lady's an artist. We've got several HVAC companies. Here's another advertiser. Here's a company that does fence staining and sealing. And again, he's another good example that he'll also build a fence, but he doesn't do that for iText. He just does the staining and sealing. So that's kind of, so the directory is pretty straightforward and easy to scroll through and familiarize yourself
also
with the
ratings. So you can rate the members on their services, so it kind of self-handles.
It handles issues. Yeah, it handles issues pretty quickly. You know, if somebody's, you know, kind of bending the rules a little bit, they get a bad rating. You know, so this kind of keeps everybody, you know, working in the same direction. So yeah, we have rating system where buyers can rate sellers and sellers can rate buyers.
I
And
also
that,
see that it lists the number of sales they've done.
yeah, so like Mrs.
Wow.
Domestic Services is a brand new member, so she doesn't have any ratings and she has no sales. But Climate Care is a 5-star rated and has served 63 people.
Wow. That's kind of interesting because the one right above, what was it, 600?
Yeah, we'll find some that have, you know,
They're
big numbers.
507.
Yeah,
That's a
there's
lot of sales.
189. Yeah. 189 sales, or is that 189 from the web developer?
Nice.
So
So it's not just talking about a few sales. Somebody can bring in and fill up a significant portion, not a significant, but it's not like one sale here or there, depending on what you're offering.
yeah, it depends on what you're offering, and sometimes we want to control it a little bit, like my janitorial service. You know, if I went out and got him 5 jobs at $1,000 a month apiece, he'd be bringing in $5,000 a month. He'd have to be a very good spender to spend that much each month. Now, I have spenders that spend $150,000 a year.
Wow.
So you can get good enough, but he's new. So I've got him 1 job and we're going to start spending that $700 and then I'm going to get him another job. So I work with people that way too, to make sure they don't take in too much and that they don't take it in too fast.
I mean, as somebody in marketing, I could even see how this would be good partnerships. You know, we moved to marketing strategy. I don't do everything. We focus on marketing strategy and we implement what we're great at in-house. But the ability to then become the agency and say, you know, we can get you on some digital billboards. I can collect cash from the client and then buy it with iText dollars. Is that fair game?
You are really wrapping your head around this. That's pretty high level trading. We call that cash converting. And yeah, you can do that. That's a very wise thing to do. So another
Interesting.
member we have, and people are familiar with, BNI,
Mm-hmm.
Business Network International. And sometimes people don't join there because of the fees. I'm president of a chapter. Well, BNI will accept the national fee. This regional office will. So it's just
Wow.
good for Dallas. We'll accept that fee in iText dollars.
That's an interesting, because I have not joined BNI. That's one reason. They're usually out, there's always already another marketer. I'm not going to argue for the spot.
Yeah, yeah. It's the same like with realtors and lenders and so forth. So here's a guy that sells mailing lists. So that helps people. He sells mailing lists that are new homeowners to an area. He sells that kind of, now of course he can get you business to business lists, but he doesn't offer those for iText. He gets plenty of business just doing the homeowner lists
Yep.
to equal out what he spends in a year. So mobile marketing helper, that's maybe one of your competition. There's the speaker co-op. Here's a
That's
guy,
with,
Artifact.
let's see, Speaker Co-op, is that George Henley?
No, it's Jeff Klein.
Jeff Klein. Okay, he's going to be
Yeah.
one of our speakers.
Oh yeah, he's super. He is super. So yeah, so I mean, these are the kinds of things that that are available, and like I said, it's not everything, but it's going to be enough to take care of what we help you sell.
Outstanding. You want to flip off the share screen? We'll go back to chit-chatting. There you
Okay,
go. You're getting good at this Zoom thing.
that's right. I'm almost as good as you now.
Man,
On my end, I can't do your end. I'd never be able to connect up.
for as much as I am in the digital marketing, I will say like these video conferencing, that's my Achilles heel in digital marketing. Like when I've almost given up on Skype. If you got to make the phone call on Skype, it's probably not going to happen. I was like,
Yeah.
our product's a little old. Webinars.
Yeah.
I am going to start doing webinars. We have a Monday meeting for all of our members. They can actually come to my office. We sit down. If you've got a problem, bring it and we'll hash it out, or just network. And I'm going to start turning the first hour into a what's working now and teach something, or bring in a speaker and do it by webinar. So not only can they see it, but everyone nationwide, or we have a couple global people, so everyone can see it. They can ask questions live. And then what was the other one? I was going to turn the other one in how to build new memberships so you can build your own business through networking. And this, I think, will be really interesting. But yeah, the webinar is trying to figure it out. I'm like, I am just now feeling comfortable enough with the webinar to do that on a large scale with dependability.
I did a webinar and the audio wouldn't work. So everybody is messaging, no audio, no audio. And I couldn't figure out how to get it to work. And so I was like, seminar's over. So I've got to redo that one now.
Which platform did you use?
I used Click Meeting.
Okay, so if you need to do another one, let me know. And I've actually done this for a couple of clients. I can come in office and facilitate it and bring laptops and my iPads to make sure everything's working while you're doing it and take care of the hard part.
Oh, wow, cool.
Or just add you as a speaker and you don't even have to worry. It's like this then, right? So we have the modern barter versus the direct swap. With iText, and we have the registration or the links up here. And you were offering, your offer was to waive that's the setup fee of, was it $295?
Waive the enrollment and setup fee. Yeah, it's $295. Yeah.
Okay, using the word video, all lowercase?
Yeah, all lowercase or uppercase. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It catches it either way.
And then once they take you up on that offer, because when this hits, I'm going to go, for the people that I know would directly benefit from this, hit them up and be like, come over to the dark side.
Yeah.
How does that, when you first sign up, how does that go?
Okay, so when somebody first signs up, first thing we do is we hone in on exactly what they're going to offer for full iText.
Okay.
So they can't do part cash, part trade. What are they going to do for full iText? Then I promote them to the membership in a new member announcement, and then I do continual promotion for them. And then I and my assistant are always calling businesses and talking with them and suggestive selling some stuff. It's easy to call a business and say, I'm on your website and I see you don't have a video. Do you know how critical that is right now? And usually their response is, yeah, well, I don't have time to put one together. Well, we've got copywriters that'll interview you over the phone and we'll put this together for you. You don't have to do anything but pay the bill,
Nice.
So we do suggestive sales as well. And then of course you got the itext.com, both on desktop and on mobile through our mobile app.
What's the mobile do?
For members there. What?
What's mobile do for people?
So on the mobile app, they're able to search for members around them, and they're also able to pay people or get paid. And then we also have what we call the invite feature, which helps people invite other people to join iText. And then that triggers a series of emails that introduces them to, how iText works and how it could benefit their business. And then Jeff shows up to finalize it.
Nice. So. Well, thank you very much for duplicating this interview. I'm sorry we had to.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah. Yeah, no problem.
I didn't want to, it was such a good interview and I love the offer, and we're going to make sure to put that on the landing page for all the members to see, and tag a few people. Any final thoughts before we sign off?
No, I think that's it. I think it's great that you're doing this. Now how will